Hi, my name is Andrew. I have my tree company, Sand Lake Tree LLC. I've had it for 24 years. So I've had my tree company for 24 years. Somebody shared a video to help me out with a stump grinder a little bit for teeth, but this is not a tutorial for stump grinding teeth. People make unknown mistakes, and when you see it, you just can't unsee it. So I want to share how I fixed some of those issues with my stump grinder. And like I said, I've operated the stump grinder for 24 years. All right, we're gonna have a little wind. So I have an 873 Bobcat. I've actually had the stump grinder so long, I kept wearing out the plug-in. And I know you can buy replacement pigtails and stuff, but again, they just kept wearing out and they'd hang down and bend. This is the biggest thing I want to show. The SG60 Bobcat stump grinder has that mud flap that does no good. And so I welded tubing on, and the bolt here makes so you could take it off and then transport the machine, and that's actually just a pickup bed liner, and it goes all the way down to the ground. What I like about the SG60 is you have 3 points of articulation. This is set up kind of like an excavator. So you got left, right, you can kick it in and out, and then you can kick it up and down. So you get a lot of good articulation. You don't actually have to move the machine ahead to keep grinding more on the stump grinder head. And you'll see it more. I'm gonna grind this stump here, and if you can't see what you're grinding, you're not going to be efficient, so you're wasting fuel and time. The shielding on this machine would bundle up all the grindings, and I couldn't see what I'm doing. Also, it's like, how many times do you want to grind the stump out? Just like how many times you want to cut a tree down. If you're grinding the same grindings, you're prematurely wearing out your stump grinder teeth, and again, time and fuel. So get the chips out of the way immediately. And a lot of the stump grinders, I don't know what you'd be able to do with it, but like I said, this here makes a huge amount of sense for me. Works very well. I have the old style teeth. I do have round pockets. The ones that came from the factory, those would just break. Machine's a little underpowered, I think, in my opinion. 73 horse. It takes every ounce that it has, and when I run it, you're going to see that it likes to bounce around just a tiny bit. The bushings are wore out, and like I said, it's also, I don't know if it makes sense, everybody is doing a pretty good job of it. When you grind a stump, grind corners. So a lot of people, I don't see anybody doing it, but don't grind flat. Always take corners. So you take this down 6 inches, you can grind 2 separate corners. So again, it'll make a little sense when I'm grinding the stump. This is a green ash. The green ash it's probably about 20-inch root flare. It'll probably be 25. And like I said, it's grind and keep the area as much as possible. Keep the grindings out of the way. This stump is small enough, I'm not going to do it. It's not made for it really, but I use this to push the wood chips out of the way. so I can keep grinding. That's the advantage of a skid steer, I guess, is you can keep pushing it out of the way as you're grinding, or lift up, back drag it. Or another option is to just reposition to an area where you can see. So I'm going to start the machine up. This machine has air conditioning and full cabin closure. The corner here, the screen has come loose, and I probably should just put plexiglass. So it will throw a little debris a little bit towards the machine. Absolutely not bad. I have not broke any windows in the machine or a house or a building or a car. You just put additional shielding if need be, but otherwise, the hyper extreme amount of shielding for the rubber flaps, I really just don't see it's necessary. I've ground out over 30,000 stumps with this machine, and rebuilt the head, a lot of teeth and all this stuff too. But let's start the machine up. This is what I like about the machine. You have the deluxe instrument panel. You can tell what the temperature of your engine is, and you can tell what the hydraulic oil temperature is. I think that's probably the most important part. If you're going to have a machine grinding stumps hydraulically, you should know what your hydraulic temperature, what your hydraulic fluid temperature is. And if you're running too hot a temperature, let the machine sit, let it run, just let it cool down, and then go back to work. If it stays hot as you're grinding, that's a guarantee indication that you need to change your stump grinder teeth, because you're just working it too hard. So I'm not going to put music over this or try to talk over the noise of the machine. So I'm going to one hand hold the cell phone and operate the machine, and I'll just let it do the talking. I'm going to add one note. There's two buttons here. One for variable flow, one for maximum flow. When you're running the hydraulic stump grinder, make sure it's on maximum flow. Sometimes I forget and put it on variable, and it does affect the performance of the machine. You'll have to tolerate the mistake, I guess. I didn't hook it back up when I showed that modification. I'm gonna save the pain of watching all of grinding this while I'm trying to hold my cell phone. It is a lot faster with two hands. The teeth are a little dull, and this is a green ash that was alive. They're pretty darn hard to grind, so that is it, and I hope this helps. Like I said, it's the excessive shielding I don't feel is necessary. You can add guards, and but keep the line of sight clean. Have a good day.